こんにちは。私は本日のウェビナーで進行及び補足を務めさせていただきます商標部1グループ所属、調査出願担当の草野と申します。本日はよろしくお願いいたします。今回のウェビナーでは中米のコスタリカとグアテマラよりIDEAS事務所のパートナー弁護士2名を講師に迎え、コスタリカ、ホンジュラス、エルサルバドル、ニカラグア、グアテマラ、パナマのスペイン語圏6カ国にフォーカスして、それらの国の商標制度、権利行使について講義をいただきます。今回のウェビナーですが、講師は英語で話すため、動画には日本語の字幕が付されていますが、講師の話すスピードや視聴者の方が認識できる文字数とするために短く編集されており、また意訳も含まれておりますことをご了承いただけますと幸いです。続きまして、IDEAS IP のご紹介です。IDEAS IP は2009年にコスタリカで設立された事務所であり、地域の知的財産権問題への実用的な解決策を提供しており、その品質と中米及びカリブ海地域の法体系に関する知識が評価され、設立からわずか10年でその影響力を拡大させ、現在では中米のみならず、カリブ海諸国や一部の南米の国も管轄として活動している事務所となります。それでは本編へと移らせていただきます。
Good morning or good afternoon. My name is Maricruz Villanea. I am the partner of IDEAS in Costa Rica.
Hello, my name is Gonzalo Menendez, partner of IDEAS in Guatemala.
Welcome to our seminar on trademark protection and enforcement in Central America. Today, we will explore the trademark legislation across the region, which shares many similarities among these countries. All Central American nations are part of the Paris Convention for the protection of trademarks. However, only Belize has joined the Madrid Protocol so far. This means that in other Central America countries, trademark filing must be handled independently within each jurisdiction. General information is composed, Central America is composed from 7 different countries: Costa Rica, Honduras, El Salvador, Nicaragua, Guatemala, and Panama, and Belize, While most of these nations were former Spanish colonies, Belize was part of the British colonies until 1981. As a result, Belize has maintained a distinct political and cultural heritage compared to its neighbors. So it's a very different country from the rest of Central America. As the most recent data, the population in Central America, it's approximately 51 million in all Central America countries. Costa Rica has around 5 million people. Guatemala is the largest country with almost 18 million people. Nicaragua has around 6 million people, Honduras more than 10 million people, El Salvador 6 million, Panama 4 million people, and Belize is not even 5,000 people population. It's a very
500,000.
500,000 population, yes. In terms of religion, Christianity is the predominant in all of the countries, being the Roman Catholicism the most practiced in all the countries. The primary language is Spanish, except for Belize, where English is the official language. The GDP in major industries, as you can notice, Guatemala is the one with the biggest GDP with 105.9 billions, then followed by Costa Rica, and then goes on. The major industry in all our countries are tourism, also agriculture with bananas, coffee, and cacao in some of the countries. Costa Rica is also well known because of technology and medical devices that are produced from companies in Costa Rica.
And now with nearshoring, a lot of Asian and European companies are establishing factories and production facilities in Guatemala and Costa Rica in the free trade zones?
Central America and Japan have a long history in cooperation with the trademark agreement called GCAFTA aims to enhance economic ties between Japan and several Central American nations. This agreement typically focuses on the following keys. Trade liberation. The agreement seeks to reduce tariff and trade barriers, promoting greater access for Central America goods in the Japanese market and vice versa. Also, Japanese are selling goods in Central America. Trademark filings in Central America in 2023. Costa Rica filed around 16,000 filings of new trademarks. Guatemala almost the same. Nicaragua, it's a very short number, less than 4,000 filings. Honduras around 11,000, El Salvador like 10,000, and Panama like 10,000 filings. The emerging markets in Central America are Panama and Guatemala, that shows a strong filing activity reflecting their growing economies and interest in IP protection. So Guatemala, Costa Rica, and Panama are the strongest countries in Central America. That's why we recommend industries to file and protect their trademarks there, because there's a lot of movement and companies going in and out, so there are good markets to be protected. The average prosecution time in the countries for a smooth process, Costa Rica takes between 4 to 6 months, Honduras 10 to 12, El Salvador 6 to 8 months, Nicaragua 10 to 12 months, Guatemala 5 to 7 months, and Panama takes between 10 and 12 months. The trademark registration process in all the countries are very similar in requirements, with a slight difference that in Costa Rica and in Panama, we only need a simple signed power of attorney. But for Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, and Guatemala, we need a legalized and apostate power of attorney. Our firm help our clients with that. We can receive just one signed power of attorney, a digital copy, since are the requirements from Costa Rica, and I'm a public notary, so I can delegate in my colleagues in all the other countries, so you don't have to be looking around for a Guatemala consulate or Honduras consulate and those kinds of things. The general smooth registration process, it's also very similar in all the countries with the search. It's very important, the drafting of the ideal lists of goods. And you file the trademark, then you have a formal examination, then a substantial examination, and when everything goes okay, you have a publication and 2-month period to present oppositions and certificate. In these 4 countries, you have to pay, when you file the application, you have to pay the registration rights in that moment. In Nicaragua, the difference is that you only, when you file the trademark and pay the registration, you will only have a formal examination and then publication, opposition time, and after that, the trademark office will make a substantial examination. And then if everything goes okay, certificate. And El Salvador, the difference between the other countries is that you pay the rights after the formal examination, the substantial, the opposition time, everything at the end. Before the certificate is when you pay the rights. We have different formal office action in Central America, often highlight administrative issues within trademark application. These are generally procedural rather than substantive, but can still lead to significant delays if not resolved properly. All the formal office action may be avoided, so it's important to be careful because it can pass from 6-month time of registration to a year or more for something that you can avoid. Normally, there are missing or incorrect documents are among the most common issues where application may lack require certification, power of attorney, or proof of fees. similarity, errors in document and filing, especially forms, are incomplete or improperly. The other problems that we see is the substantive office action. These often arise from trademark applications that infringe public policy, religious sensitivities, lack or insufficient distinctiveness. Absolute ground rejection is a primary basis targeting marks that contradict legal or moral standards. For example, a mark that may hold cultural significance or offend public sensibilities can face substantial rejections. Distinctiveness is a cornerstone in the region where trademarks must be capable of identifying and distinguish products or services. Descriptive marks or customary terms are frequently challenged as they provide insufficient and uniqueness. In addition, shapes that hold a functional or technical value, such a natural form of a product, are ineligible for trademark protection. These office actions also emphasize compliance with international standards, particularly in avoiding symbols, flags, or emblems that represent other nations or organizations. This layer of sensibility highlights the importance of understanding both regional and global trademark policies in Central America. The renewal and maintenance of trademarks in Central America are almost the same in all the countries. They are all governed by a specific regulation that vary slice from country to country. Trademarks require renewal every 10 years to remain valid, with non-renewed marks expiring, and sometimes they have grace period that almost are 6 months in all the countries. Central America also enforcement differs by country. Administrative complaints and civil court actions are available in most nations, but political factors influence in enforcement and strength. For instance, for Costa Rica, Guatemala, and Panama provide stronger IP protection, while political situation in Nicaragua and Honduras can complicate the enforcement. By staying aware of these factors, trademark owners can better protect and sustain their rights across Central America. In Costa Rica, you have a 10-year period for trademarks, 6 months of grace period. You don't have to pay the annual fees. No declaration of use is required. Cancellation may be asked by a third party after 5 years of registration. There is no obligation to prove use. In Honduras, there's also 10-year period for renewal. You have to pay annuity fees in Honduras, but you can pay them at the time of renewal. They also have something very different that is called rehabilitation tax. That is that if you are not using the trademark, you can pay a tax that is, I think it's like really cheap, like $10, something like that per year, so you are not subject to cancellation. In El Salvador is the same. It's 10 years, 6-month grace period, not annual fees, no declaration required, and it's also non-use vulnerability after 5 years of registry. In all the countries, it's very interesting because the burden of proof for non-use of trademark, it's of the owner of the trademark. The owner of the trademark have to prove that they are using the trademark. So you can file a cancellation of no use against any trademark without proving that it's not used. It's the owner of the trademark, the one that has to prove that the trademark is in use. Nicaragua is the same, 10 years, 6-month grace period, not use required, and not annual fees or declaration of use. Guatemala the same, 10 years, 6-month grace period, and no declaration of use is required. Panama the same, 10 years, 6-month period, not annual fees, no declaration of use.
ここで更新手続きについてのまとめです。こちらが中米6カ国の更新出願に関する内容をまとめた表となります。いずれの国でも権利は登録日から10年間有効であり、更新期限を溶かした場合でも更新期限日から6ヶ月は猶予期間が与えられています。 登録維持のための使用宣誓書の提出はいずれの国でも不要であり、使用義務は登録から3年または5年後に発生します。ホンジュラスのみリハビリテーションタックスと呼ばれる税を支払っておくことで、不使用であっても取り消しを回避することが可能です。ホンジュラスは1年金の納付が必要である点が他の5カ国と異なるものの、年払い、一括前払い、更新時前払いなど複数の納付方法が用意されています。それでは続きまして模倣品対策のパートへと移らせていただきます。
And I will talk about the overview of the counterfeit market. The current situation. Commonly counterfeited goods: sports apparel, luxury goods, electronics, automobiles, cosmetics, and pharmaceuticals dominate the counterfeit market in Central America. These products are often shipped from China and then smuggled from neighboring countries like Nicaragua and Panama. Illicit distribution channels. Counterfeit goods enter Central America mainly through street vendors, online platforms, and import smuggling. Cross-border smuggling is a major contributor to the spread of these goods. Economic impact. The rise of counterfeit products results in significant financial losses for brands and damages their reputations, especially for international companies operating in Central America. Central America faces a persistent challenge with counterfeit goods infiltrating its market, mostly through smuggling from Panama and Nicaragua. The most counterfeited products include luxury items, cosmetics, and electronics, and pharmaceuticals. Laws to protect the brand owners. Trademark and enforcement laws. Trademark laws, local trademark laws, as well as international treaties such as the Paris Convention and TRIPS Agreement. These establish the foundation of the country's strong trademark protections. The penal codes of all the countries, the civil codes of all the countries, the Código Aduanero Uniforme Centroamericano, which is the customs laws that governs all of Central America, and a border union between Guatemala and Honduras. General IP enforcement actions. The main actions to protect the client IP rights against counterfeits is custom trainings, complaint filings, customs actions and seizures, market investigations, raids of counterfeit products. Customs training process. Training for customs authorities. Our team provides training to familiarize customs officials with the brands we represent. Custom trainings in our countries is very important because only in Panama there is an official customs recordals. In Guatemala, Costa Rica, Honduras, El Salvador, Nicaragua, it's an unofficial customs recordals, so that's why we need to train our officers in order for them to let us know and inform us about possible counterfeit goods of the brands that we protect. The renewal time in Panama of the customs recordal is every time the trademark is renewed, so it's every 10 years. Criminal penalties for counterfeiting. Imprisonment. Counterfeiters can face sentences ranging from 6 months to 5 years, depending on the severity of the offense, the type of products. For example, when it's a pharmaceutical product for human or animal use, which can be damaging to health, the sentencing can be more time. The scale of the operations, repeat offenders, and fines. Monetary fines vary based on the nature and scale of the counterfeit operations. For example, in Guatemala, trademark owners can ask up to 10 times the commercial value, so the real value of the products that are counterfeit. For example, let's say a watch from a brand that the commercial value is $5,000. In Guatemala, you can ask 10 times the real value, the commercial value of the product. Enforcement actions, seizures, and penalties. Seizure of goods. Authorities can confiscate counterfeit products and equipment used for production. Civil liability. Brand owners can file civil lawsuits for damages caused by counterfeit goods. Closure of businesses. Repeat offenders may be ordered to cease operation. administrative sections, regulatory bodies may revoke business licenses for repeated violations. Market investigations. Our team provides daily investigations and monitors the market to identify counterfeit products.
I think that's very important. We try not to be waiting for the client to ask us or tell us when something is happening. We have a group of investigators in our countries that they are always looking for things, so we try to work to cooperate with the client in that matter.
Yeah, be proactive with our clients about possible counterfeit goods, and to basically see their interest to file an action. The key tasks of the market investigations is identifying business owners involved in counterfeiting, locating warehouses or establishments storing counterfeit products, and locating production facilities. The outcome: these investigations may lead to raids on locations where counterfeit goods are stored or produced. Requirements to execute criminal actions. Power of attorney executed in favor of our legal team. Product training for authorities to identify genuine products. Appointment of technical experts, which is necessary for confirming the authenticity of products and assisting the criminal case.
We can give the client that technical expert. We just need a permission or a declaration of the client allowing somebody in Costa Rica or in Guatemala to be the expert. So they don't have to send, for example, somebody from Japan to Costa Rica or to Guatemala and those things.
Yeah, certain brands as well, what they do is they do trainings for the technical expert in order for them to basically become a technical expert of the brand. Effectiveness of laws. Challenges in enforcement. Enforcement challenges. Despite a strong legal framework, some of the countries lack specialized district attorneys' offices, and the judicial police often underestimate the importance of IP enforcement. In Central America, only Guatemala and Honduras have a specialized office for intellectual property inside the district attorney's office.
And Panama.
And Panama as well. Judicial system delays. Legal proceedings, especially for lower value goods, can face significant delays, discouraging brand owners from pursuing cases. We want to talk about three important seizures that took place in Costa Rica and Guatemala in 2024, this year. This case is various sporting goods where we represented our clients, Adidas, New Balance, and Puma, where apart from clothing, around 10,000 pairs of footwear, of shoes were seized, with an estimated value of $1.5 million in commercial value.
This operative was so big that trademark owners have to rent a warehouse because the one of the authorities was not enough big to take care of all the merchants.
In Guatemala, 2024, year to date, we've seized a little bit more of 75,000 products that have been seized and destroyed. We've reached approximately $250,000 in settlements, and the commercial value of the products that we have seized is around $2 million. There's two specific cases that took place in 2024. One with our client Apple, which was a seizure that was made in the international airport of Guatemala, which was very important because all the people that are coming in and out of Guatemala were buying and counterfeit products.
Not knowing, but imagine in the airport.
Yeah.
You'll never figure it's fake.
And also an important client, Lego, which was the biggest seizure made in our country for these type of goods in our country's history, which was 45,000 products seized, different various products, all from the Lego brand, for a commercial value of around $750,000. Conclusion: strengthening IP protection in Central America. We need collaborative efforts for the effective IP protection between brand owners, law enforcement, and government bodies. We need to focus on enforcement. Strengthening the enforcement mechanisms and providing adequate resources is crucial to combat counterfeiting, and continued legal reforms, which are ongoing legal reforms and adaptation to international standards, are necessary to maintain robust IP protection.
Something very important about that is that in Central America, the intellectual property crimes, they are public crimes, but they are only pursuable with the help of the owner. The owner has to be part of the process in order to the authorities to pursue these crimes. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
それでは本日のウェビナーのまとめをさせていただきます。中米で発展が期待される有力な市場としてガテマラ、コスタリカ、パナマが挙げられており、日本と中米の間で自由貿易協定が結ばれていることから、日本企業にビジネスチャンスがあるエリアと考えられます。また、これらの3カ国は政情も安定しており、商標権の行使も可能であるため、権利化が推奨されています。出願後の流れは、方式審査、実態審査、広告、登録という流れが一般的であり、実態審査はそれほど厳しくないことから、方式審査でつまずくことがないように対応することが重要となります。中米において、知財犯罪は控訴犯罪であるものの、商標所有者の協力がなければ、訴追が難しいことが指摘されており、ニカラグアやホンジュラスでは、模倣品の取り締まりが容易ではないことが指摘されています。しかしながら、IDEAS IP は積極的に各国の市場を監視しており、疑義のある商品が検出された場合には、市場調査を行い、模倣品事業主を特定し、模倣品の保管、製造場所に対する強制捜査へつなげることをしており、コスタリカやガテマラにおいて大規模な摘発に成功した事例も紹介されています。模倣品はスポーツウェア、高級食品、電子機器、自動車、化粧品、医薬品が多く、主に中国から出荷され、ニカラグアやパナマなどに密輸されるとのことから、特に公式な税関制度を有するパナマにおいては、税関登録を行うことが考えられます。また、ブランドオーナー自身が税関職員に対して真贋判定方法などをレクチャーすることで、模倣品を税関で止めてもらえる可能性が高まることから、そのような活動も積極的に行うことが推奨されています。このことは、昨年実施したアフリカ商標セミナーにおいても、現地代理人がその重要性を指摘しておりましたので、模倣品対策において重要な戦略であると考えられます。以上で本日のウェビナーを終了とさせていただきます。ご清聴ありがとうございました。なお、ご質問等がございます場合には、弊社スタッフまでお気兼ねなくご連絡ください。